to learn your name today. Is there anybody who is new? And you sign up officially? Okay, let me see this document here. Hope you know what I'm talking about. Your syllabus, and you're supposed to do a quiz, and let me see them here. I'm very glad you checked the email and tell me your name. Is your name on there? Oh, yeah, that's what that. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
That's only if you weren't here today.
I see. Did you sign up officially? I can read that stuff. Okay, what you need to do is you have to print out a copy of the syllabus.
Okay.
Hard copy, and not like that. Show it to me in the class. Next class, you also have to do quiz.
Okay.
The quiz is you could upload it. You could download it. Why don't you write down your name? Well, when you sign the sheet, just put down Neil, okay? And you have to show it to me in hard copies next class. Both syllabus and that. Yeah. Oh. Okay, I'll ask for your name and then you can flash it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. It's really not that formal. What's your name?
Zach,
Sorry?
Zach Walker,
Zach, okay, I remember you. How many pages you got? 7?
7.
Okay, you can go back to your seat. I'm just gonna call your name and then you can wave it. And I'll ask you 1 or 2 questions depending on, quick questions and then you good. Okay, let's see. Dante Pitt, are you here? Okay, what's my fax number? What's my fax number? I'm kidding. It's on page 2 in a minute. How many percent is a presentation for your final grade? Okay, more basic question. What is the name of this class? No, I'm asking him here. Principles of macroeconomics. Okay, so what is the percent for presentation? 3/4 down the page, you should see that. Nick, you know the answer to that? You can beat him to it if you know the answer. Nick, yeah, Mr. Casimir.
10%.
10%, you sure? Because the other class, somebody told me a lower percentage when I checked. It's like, are you in the right class, first of all? 10% is the project presentation. Did you find it, Dante? Somewhere like, right here. Did you see it?
Mine said 30 though.
Huh?
You said project presentation?
Yes, yeah,
Isn't it 30?
that's 10%.
That's class specific.
All right, how about, Gerson? That's you? Okay, you got it. Okay, very good. And please use a stapler because you're gonna get extra credit next time when you hand in your paper if you have staplers. Because I'm also grading you on managerial skill for business students especially. You get all these extra points for doing something proper, like hand in or on time, and we got early bird specials and all that stuff, so that's coming. If you endure to the end, yeah. Some of you might drop the class. Tomorrow's the last day to drop the class, so you still have a chance to decide. Let's see who else. Jasmine White, where are you? Okay, you got that syllabus. Very good. What's my office hours today?
2 to 3:15.
Really? That early? 2 to 3:15. No, that's our class.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wait.
I can't have office hours same
3:35.
time we have a class. Yeah, right. Very good. Thank you. Okay, let's see, who else? The person who just brought the syllabus to me, what is your name? Yes, back there. Can you tell me your name? Yes.
Andrea
Andrea.
Oviedo.
Oh, you're the student from Nick.
Yeah, the grad student.
Yeah, okay, the MBA director sent you. Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Let's see, what else? And we have Zachary, you showed it to me already. Now, there were some people who raised your hand but didn't show it to me. Can you raise your hand again? There were, I think, a couple of you because you all started to walk out, and then I caught a few of you, and
You talking about the syllabus?
yeah. Were you the one who didn't have it before?
No, I haven't.
Who were the one who didn't have it and I didn't call your name? Okay, over there. What's your name?
Margaret.
You're Margaret Shaw, is that right? You got your syllabus today?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Who else? I think there are one or two. Okay, what's your name?
Adrian.
Next. Sorry?
Adrian.
Adrian, what's your number? Sanjas.
Yes.
Okay, that's you. Okay, who else? Okay, tell me your name, please.
India Wiggins.
India? Okay. What's your last name?
Wiggins.
Let's see here. You go this way, that, so it should be somewhere. Oh, okay. Wiggins, yeah, I see it. India, is that how you say your first name? Okay, thank you. Very good. So while we're at the name, why don't we do the names? This is a time that you could, if you have a creative name, nickname, you want to use it, it's a good time to tell me. And that's okay, as long as you respond to it all semester. Okay, what are we doing? We're doing chapter, what are we doing chapter 9? That's really, yeah. What chapter were we in last time?
3.
3. Very good. How many of you got the book today? Wave it. Yes. Very good. How many of you read it? Oh, come on. Really? Nobody? The other day I got 2. Well, the other class I got 2. Raise your hand. Let me tell you something. I think this class is CCN 2030. Okay, in my last 10 years, I gave out 3 A's in this class. Some A minuses, but 3 A's only. And one of the A student, one of the things that he did is he briefed the chapter before it comes to class. And you always know what's going on. So reading the chapter in advance helps a lot. And especially now, if you can do that, at least after professor covered the class, I read through this area, this part of the textbook, it really is a double reinforcement. How many of you have your PowerPoint slides with you? You printed out, you're ready to take notes? Okay, only one. All right, let's do some name. Has everybody signed? Could I have it? May I have that attendance sheet? Last person? Still working on it? Okay, 2 more to go. Kira, is that you? Which one is Kira? I'm trying to learn name from the other days. Kira? Tyra. Okay. Ups and downs, right? Yeah. Jacqueline Martinez. Okay, that's you. I think I did India. Manali Beck. Okay. Haley. How you say your name? Haley? Okay. Cody. That's you. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, we switch to this one today. Did I miss any? Oh yeah, you on the first seat, so Zach. Okay. Zach okay or Zachary?
Yes, ma'am, Zach's all right.
Zach is fine. Okay, very good. Melody, that's you. Okay, and we did Cody and Dante, Adrian, and that's Asia. Did you sign today? Asia, did you sign today already? I know, that's you. Did you sign today? Okay, I don't see your number here. Oh, I see. I don't know what happened. You're 17. Oh, okay. So it must be pass at the back and then come back to you, right?
Should be beside India.
Because it's not in order, that's all. So, like Kayla? Kayla? You are Kayla? Where's Asia?
You mean Deja?
Oh my goodness, I got you two confused. Okay, I see. Asia is 17, Kayla. Okay, you spoke to me yesterday, didn't you? Wow. Thank you, sorry about that. Got it. Okay, India, and then, is that Sima or Sierra?
Sierra.
I'm sorry?
Sierra.
Sierra, okay, so it's two R's there, not an M. Sierra. Sierra. Margaret? Okay, I think I got Margaret, and your first name is Andrea? Okay, very good. And we got Destiny, and we got Asia. Asia. We got James. You go by Jim, Jimmy, James? James, good. Well, I had a student want to be called Jimmy, so, okay, Jimmy. No problem. Danielle? Danielle. Okay. Heaven? That's your middle name. You okay with that, right? Okay. How do I know that's your middle name? I don't know what happened. Sometimes something tell me, you know? And Gerson? That's how you want to be called? Okay. That's a very unique name. I think I saw that name somewhere. Maybe in the Bible? Could be, yeah. Nick, okay, I know Nick. Jonathan? Okay, Jonathan is back there. Kiana? Okay, Jasmine? You are Jasmine. I know it's Owens is the last.
Shanice.
Shanice? Okay. Thank you. Got all the names. That's it. Hopefully I remember them. I think I will. Yeah. Okay, where did we start last time? Starts with D.
Disequilibrium.
It's a long name. Starts with D.
Disequilibrium.
Disequilibrium. Who says that?
I do.
You. And you are? That's how I learned my name. Which one are you? You are number 18, right?
No. 16.
16.
Oh, you know your number. Your destiny, yes. People know their number. That's good. You're keeping her. Yeah. So we talk about disequilibrium. There are two examples of disequilibrium I talk about. What are they? What's the first one? Did we cover that? I thought we did.
What'd you say?
Can you read the question? Oh, okay. We talk about the term disequilibrium, right? And then we said there were two examples, right? So what are the two big examples for disequilibrium?
Shortages.
Okay, shortages and
Surplus.
surpluses. Very good. We have not given an example yet, actually. We were just defining the term, really. So let's look at the first one. This is the first one. So don't worry about that equation, right? This page of equation, you could erase it. When I did this page one time, my first semester, some student walked out. I said, well, what happened? And we don't know what it is. See, that's calculus. Anyway, this class does not require calculus, so no problem, scratch it out. Okay, so two examples, disequilibrium. So the first one is, what are we doing? Surplus, okay. Surplus means quantity demanded is less than quantity supply. Okay, sometimes I use 1D, sometimes I use 2, it's the same. So your quantity demanded is less than quantity supply, you got surplus. So what happened is you got a downward sloping demand curve, upward sloping supply curve, and this is the equilibrium. Okay, everybody okay with that? We call it equilibrium, that's when you have a happy phase. There is a marker because there's a buyers, there's a seller, okay. So the buyers will be this is when QB equals to TQS, like that, okay? So again, this is price, this is quantity down here. So in the case of surplus, we have example. The example is minimum wages. How many of you have heard about that? I'm sure you have. So if you do wages, now let's look at this example and then we'll give another example on the wages, the minimum wages. So if you look at this, right, you see that, let me ask you a question. So what is the equilibrium price according to this graph?
$4.
Raise your hand if you want to answer the question, come on. What's the equilibrium price here?
$3.
Okay, yes,
It's $3.
James, yeah, $3 is correct. How do you know it's 3?
That's where the dot would be. If you like level.
Because that's where the two lines cross, okay? Demand curve intersect with supply curve. Everybody okay with that? So you draw a line across, that's $3. Your equilibrium quantity is, yes, in front, 12, okay.
Oh, no, I'm Jackie. Yes,
Jacqueline, okay. All right, do you go by Jackie?
either one's fine.
Okay. As long as it's not Jack, right?
Yeah.
Jackie, right. Okay, very good. So, now we're drawing a line above the equilibrium. So that's this equilibrium. Because at $4, you could see that the quantity supply is actually 16,000. Because the units are in thousand, and then the quantity demanded, okay, is actually 8,000. So there is a surplus because quantity supply is greater than quantity demanded. There's a surplus of how much?
About 4.
Raise your hand if you want to answer, so it's faster, yeah. So what is the amount of the surplus? Yes, Asia?
8,000.
8,000. How do you know it's 8,000?
16 minus, well,
Okay,
16,000.
it's 16,000 minus 8,000, and that's how you get 8,000. So it's the distance of that straight line. So everybody with me? Okay, so that's called the surplus. Because it's not in equilibrium and you don't have a happy face. That's up there, it's when you have excess. Okay, or in this case, surplus. Now I'm gonna be introducing two other terms here. The first one is price ceiling. And the other one is price floor. In this case, I think I want the price floor, yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna change this graph, relabel it. So this is, well actually I'm just gonna add labor supply and labor demand. I'm just add the big capital L. So let's just say this is labor market. Where you have employers and employees. We are the employees. Employers are your so-called bosses. Okay. So up here you have wages per hour, okay? And down here you would have employment or numbers of workers. Okay, very good. So at equilibrium, let's just say the price is $6 per hour. Is that good? Would you like to be paid $6 per hour? No, why not? Because the minimum wages is $7.25. Who wants to go with that? Let's just say originally at the market rate is $6, which, you know, it's not very ideal. And people look at it, they say, oh yeah, there are 500 people who wants to be working at McDonald's. So let's just say this is a market rate and market price or wages. In this case, this is a market equilibrium for the number of workers. Okay, I'm applying that what we learned to labor market now. So let me see something. Okay, so there are two groups of people: employers versus employees. Now tell me. From this one up here, labor supply should be from a perspective of, is that workers, employees, or employers? What do you think? Who supply labor?
Employers.
Employees or employers?
Lawyers.
I'm hearing two things. Which one? Raise your hand so I can be sure, yeah, if you want to answer that. So who supply labor? Employees, A, or employers, B?
Employees.
Yes, Nick.
Employees.
Employees is A, okay, that's correct. So I'm gonna put it up here because employees are people like us. We don't have a lot of money who say, I avail myself to work. I supply you labor. Hire me. Okay, so you're on the labor supply side here. You're the employees. Now, employers are people like McDonald's, Walmart, Food Lion, they hire you. So these are your bosses. So they're the one who demand your work, demand your labor. Okay, they are the demanders of the labor market. You are the supplier of the labor market. Come out, here I am, hire me. I have a degree or something. Okay, so let's just say that this is what happened in the market. And as you can see, it's not the best situation, not the ideal situation. So basically, let's just say there's a government comes in and say, well, this is not very good. You know, we want to help the teenagers. We want to help the high school people who have a high school diploma so they can earn a higher minimum wages. And they say, let's introduce something called minimum wages. And we all know that that's in North Carolina, $7.25 per hour, which is higher than $6. You draw a line across, and here will be your labor supply or quantity supply. Here's your quantity demand. And this, let's just say, is 700. I'm giving you a number, example, and let's just say this is 300. So what happens is if you raise the wages higher, then there are less people who get your job. Because, it's higher wages now, McDonald's are not as willing to hire. So what happened is from 500 dropped to 300. Okay, and that's on the demand curve side. That is, the employers are not as willing to hire as many as it used to be. So how many people got displaced?
200.
200, yes, very good. You understand what I'm saying? You take 500 minus 300. What about the number of people who want to work? Do you think it will be more or less?
More.
More. How much more?
2.
200 more, yes, actually exactly at 700. And why? Because now it's cheaper, not cheaper, but now you get paid more, so more people avail themselves, instead of 500, you got 700 now. We are the problem. What is the problem? Can we meet the market the way it is? The answer is no. We end up having something called surplus labor. Because 700 people wants a job. Only 300 people got the job. So the surplus labor is how much?
400.
700 minus 300. The distance here is 400. So what's another term that we use for surplus labor? Very fancy term that you turn on the TV, you hear all the time. That's bad news. It starts with U. Very good. You're thinking. Unemployment, yes. So that's the same thing as unemployment. Now, you say, wait a minute. When the government introduces minimum wage, it's supposed to be something good. Because they want to help the teenagers. They raise the price from market wages from $6 per hour to $7.25. And what happened is that, it results in some sort of unemployment. So people would ask questions like, is the policy good? Is the law good or bad? Now, here it is in economics, it's a policy making decision. They're always good and bad. So what the government tried to do is minimize the bad, maximize the good. Don't forget that there are 200 people who got help. They got a higher wages. Yes, there are some people who didn't get a job. 200 people got displaced, but look at this 300 people. They got higher wages. So yes, economic policy or government law is always like that. Every time we have something called, write this down, government intervention, you have some side effects. In fact, this is what happened. Yeah, some people got help. Hey, look at those 300 people who got $7.25 per hour now. We also know, hey, wait a minute, there are also 200 people who got displaced. There are more that are being helped than those who are being harmed. So keep that in mind. Every time there's a government intervention that will produce some sort of inefficiency, which is a big term in microeconomics. So basically that's what happened, but then I want to introduce one other thing. Okay, earlier you had price for a minimum price. Be sure you write this now. Okay, this is an important thing. Now remember, we use a term here, price floor. What is a floor? That's the floor. That's it. That's the minimum. Unless you kick real hard, you poke through the floor. But that's the lowest point. What does that mean? That means that this $7.25 is known as minimum, not maximum. So if McDonald's come out and look at this and say, I think I want to do better. I want to hire these teenagers out there for, say, $10 per hour. Is that okay? Okay, Gershon, you were like nodding your head. You're right. It's okay. Why? Because the limit is imposed on the floor. It's okay if you want to hire them for $10 per hour, $12 per hour, $15 per hour, that's up to you, but you just cannot drop below $7.25. Okay, very good. So in other words, in order for the law to be effective, okay, for minimum wages, it has to be imposed. For that reason, price floor above the equilibrium price. Let me ask you a question. So what's wrong if you say we will impose a minimum price at, say, $5 per hour? What's wrong with that?
Below.
What would be the result?
People will complain.
Yes, very good. You got good insight. People will complain. What are they complaining about?
It's too low. I'm not getting paid enough.
It's too low. Why don't we just go with the market rate, right? Why do we push below the equilibrium price? We just go with the market rate rather than vote in a minimum wages that's below the market rate. Kick out the mayor. Boo. Go back to UNCP, take your ECN 2020. Don't understand economics because it's not effective if you impose it below the equilibrium price, but it only works if it is imposed above. Get it? Understand, everybody? Because that's what the law wants to help people. Raise it up higher. But then when you raise it up higher, don't forget that there are always a group of people who get help. Hopefully that's a majority, and there's always a small group of people who get harmed. The one who complained, the one who displays, the 200 people. Okay, so that's basically what this is all about. And then next, we want to look at the other extreme. The other extreme will be the shortages. Okay, that we could look at the rent control. How many of you are from New York City or that area? Or have been there? Some of you have been there. Okay, very good. So let's look at an example for shortage. So this is a case where you have your quantity demanded greater than quantity supply. You want more, but you don't get it because it's not enough to go around. So look at this. This is a demand and supply curve again for pizza, slices of pizza, and you can see that the quantity demanded, the red line is at 16,000. The quantity supply is at 8,000. What happened? We have a shortage because we don't have enough. Basically, you only have 8,000, but then there are 16,000 slices of pizza being demanded. So you have a shortage of the difference between the two, which is 8,000 slices. Very good. So if you understand that, and I want to introduce again the opposite concept, which is price ceiling instead of floor. And we want to look at example called rent control. So here's the example. And I think it's also in your book, so we're going to refer to it heavily. If you turn to the page, you could help me to find it if you like. Page, this would be chapter 3. 19? Okay, thank you. One more page, turn one more page. Page, looks like 20. Is it? Yeah, 20. Yep, page 20. Okay. So we're now going to look at the example for housing market. So this is a demand for housing market. This is a supply for housing market. Can we be a little bit more specific what kind of housing market we're looking at? Yes. We could go for a 2-bedroom apartment. How about it? And the market rate for 2-bedroom apartment is say $1,600. That is the rent per month. Okay, so this is a rent per month. And this is the number of apartment unit. And again, we're only talking about 2-bedroom apartment. And this, you have 2 million. I'm just gonna use 2. And although the numbers, the unit here is in million. Okay, so the market rate here is $1,600 per month for the rent for 2-bedroom apartment. And we always hear students complain, and say, oh yeah, inflation is not enough, we don't have enough, it's too high, the rent. Do you think you're paying too much today for your rent?
Yeah.
Okay, you should nod your head, yeah. If you say no, I would be surprised, yeah, because inflation keep going up. So if that's the case, if you're government, you're mayor of Pembroke, you want to help people, you want to help college students, what would you do?
Lower the price.
Yeah, lower the price, that's the first thing you do. So you call it a law. Let's call it a rent control law. They do that in New York City. So what they do is they draw a line across below the equilibrium price, or in this case, equilibrium rent, because this is all value up here, wages or rent or price, okay? So there it is, you have, let's just say it's $800 per month. Is that a good news?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and let's see what happens. Let's see what it does to the market. So again, this is quantity demanded, and you can see that being lower now, there will be more people who want the apartment, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So then that goes up to 3 million. Okay, and right here, this is quantity supply is only 1 million, because the landlords are not happy. If you make it a law, then they cannot charge anything because this is maximum, okay? The word ceiling means you look up to the ceiling. That's it. That's the limit. Unless you poke through it with a pole or something. If you look up the ceiling, that's the limit, right? That's a maximum. So in other words, that's a maximum price, $800 per month. Let me ask you this. Is that okay for a landlord to charge, say, $700 per month? Absolutely. Just be sure it's got 4 walls and a roof. Livable conditions, Everything's working, the commodes and pipes and water, electricity, everything working. Because that's very cheap, right? So the point here is, if you call it price ceiling, then this is a maximum. This is the highest you could go. You could go lower if you want, that's not a problem. But you cannot charge anything above. If you do so, you're violating the rent control law. That's what it means. Okay, so what are the consequences? What do you think? So we'll have a shortage of, say, in this case, 3 minus 1, right? That's how we do it. This is your QD, this is your demand curve, this is your QS. So the difference here is 3 minus 1, which is 2 million. Okay? So basically what this is saying, there'll be some side effects, because a while ago I was kind of like making a joke that if you charge it at $700 or $500 per month, you know, just be sure that everything is working, electricity is working, and you don't have, anything that's run down, you know. Make sure you got 4 walls and the roof, you know, above it. When you rent it, check out everything. Make sure you got it. Because you might be living in a substandard housing or apartment. So be careful about it. So one of the side effects would be like the landlord will not have the incentive to upgrade. You call him up and said, got a water problem, you know, leaking, my commode's leaking. Please come out and fix it. Do you think he has incentive to fix it?
No.
Not much. It's not getting much now. Before, look at that, the market price used to be $600-800. Now it's only $800 per month. So then you will have maintenance problem. The quality of the housing will decline. Hey, it might resort to some sort of illegal payment. The landlord might tell you, hey, come by my office and take a look. You know, I got the stacks of application, because everybody wants an apartment that's $800 per month, 2-bedroom apartment. That's a great price. So, and you might bribe, if I could use that term, the landlord, and say, well, how about $100 here and put me on top of that waiting list? Whoa. Well, yeah, that's illegal payment, so you could be on top of the queue. So things like that will happen. The landlord might decide, hey, it's not worth it. Why don't I just forget it, don't lease it out anymore? I would upgrade it to a condo or, with a higher market value. So instead of take the lower quality, so I could do that. Or the landlord might even resort to some sort of discrimination. Discrimination based on, I guess, your habit. It could be, you know, you have a dog, or you have 3 pit bulls, and the landlord might say, no, if you have dog, then, you're on the bottom of the list because, you might dirty the carpets and all that. So all sorts of discrimination according to his criteria. Or he might ask, do you have a hi-fi set? Because, typically in an apartment setting, people want to live in an area that's quiet and not too noisy. So, in other words, it becomes very subjective sort of criteria that a landlord could use to discriminate his potential renters. So this is some of the problems, shortcomings and disadvantages or side effects from the wonderful rent control. What's so wonderful about rent control? Did anybody get help? Yes.
Mhm.
How many?
2 million.
Is it 2 million?
Mhm.
No, that's a shortage here. So actually what happened here is only one being available, but so many people want it. So this 1 million people who got it are fortunate because they got it for a lower price. But then there are other side effects that is, these other people don't get it, the 2 millions, because these are the shortages. And then there's this whole host of other problems that I just mentioned, substandard housing and so on. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is extremely important. That is, I thought I was further ahead. This is very slow. Okay, the difference between, remember last class I mentioned that there is a difference between these 2 things. That is, I think I use the word quantity demanded. Okay. And it could be quantity supply. Okay, versus the term demand and supply. They're not the same. And on your test, I'm giving you hints now. We will ask questions like that. Quantity demanded, basically, we talk about it. If the price goes up, here it is. It is referring to the movement along the demand curve that occurs in response to a change in its own price. straightforward. There's no shift. A change in demand is a total shift of the entire line, or demand curve to the right or to the left. And this is due to the shift is caused by factors other than its own price change, which we'll take a look coming up. So, but just to very quickly, so in other words, this is your typical demand curve. If the price dropped from $5 to $4, according to the law of demand, what does it say? Anybody remember? How about I use the first part of the sentence, you complete it for me. If the price drops, what happened to quantity demanded? It will increase, yes. So because they behave in the opposite way. So here it is, if the price drops from $5 to $4, your quantity goes up from 2 to 4,000. Okay, so that's your law of demand. So what happened here is move from one point of the curve, let's just say point A to point B, that's it. And the cause of it is because there's a price change. In fact, we use the term is on price change. Okay, you should see this definition in the book as well. I think it's on page 23, yeah. See that? Page 23 is kind of nice. See the two graphs here? It shows you the difference between what is quantity demanded and a change in demand. Okay, I'm going to explain next what is a change in demand. A change in demand, or a lot of time you use the term, you apply the supply, but we're looking at demand first. Okay, this is change in quantity demanded. Change in demand basically say, let's say this is your first demand curve. We call it D1. Okay. If there is an increase in demand curve, it will shift horizontally to the right, to D2. This is called increase in demand, or demand curve. If it shifts to the left, we call it a
Decrease.
opposite, which is decrease in demand. Okay, we call it D2. Here is price, here is Q here. Okay, so that's the difference. The other one, in your homework problem that you'll be doing, you would want to pay attention to this. So this is an increase in demand. If you shift to the right, if you shift to the left, it will be decrease. Because basically what it is the same price, right? If you have the same price, say $3. So originally you have 5 here, this would be 2 lower because of decrease, and this would be like say 8. So this to the left it goes down, to the right it goes up. So remember that. So supply curve is the same thing. So if you say quantity supply, it means if the price goes up according to the law of supply, what? If the price of a good goes up according to the law of supply, what happened to quantity supply? Goes up, move in the same direction. That's why it's upward sloping. 3 goes up to $4, and this from 6 goes up to 8. And again, that's moving from one point, let's just say A, to another point, higher point, along the same, S-A-M-E, line. You're not moving the line at all. You're just basically moving from one point to another along the same supply curve. So again, increase in supply will be shifting to the right. If we shift to the left, will be decrease in supply. So keep that in mind. This is a concept that you might say, oh yeah, this is so easy, so straightforward. Yeah, it's getting harder coming up. Okay, so let's have a volunteer, to read page, so you know where it is. If you have your book, you want to volunteer to read it, raise your hand. Otherwise, I call on your name, which is words, yeah. So raise your hand if you want to read it on page 30. At the bottom, see that sky blue box? Who would like to read it? Come on, time is running out. Okay, very good. You Kiana, please go ahead and read that, the box at the bottom, yes.
Okay. Factors that cause an increase, rightward or upward shift in demand. Increase in the price of complements to the good or service. 2. An increase in the price of substitutes for the good or service. 3. An increase in income for a normal good. 4. An increased preference by demanders for the good or service. 5. An increase in the population of potential buyers. 6. An expectation of higher prices in the future.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, one more, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
When these factors move in the opposite direction, demand will shift left.
Okay, very good, thank you. So the reason I have a read, there's always a reason, is I want you to know that that's in your book. So when you do your homework problem, remember to go back to that, what she just read, and the answers are there. Okay, so let's look at some of the cases, not all of them. So what this is saying now is what makes the demand curve shift to the right. All this analysis that you see is shifting to the right. And then at the bottom it says, what you read at the bottom of that, which I don't have it, is if the opposite happened, then the demand curve shift to the left. So remember, we use the term shift now, so we're not talking about the quantity demanded anymore. We're talking about the change in demand. Okay, so let's look at the first case, a decrease in the price of complements to the good or service. Okay, let's look at the market, let's read this, the effect on the market for tennis ball of a decline in court renting fees, or court rental fees. Okay, so here's the market for, when you do your homework problem, pay attention to what market we're talking about. Okay, here we're talking about the market for tennis ball. So here's your demand curve. Okay, I would appreciate it if you don't use your cell phone during the class, so I hate to call you out on anything, but please respect everybody as far as the instructor. I appreciate it, thank you. All right, so we have the market for tennis ball. So this is the price of the tennis ball. Here's the quantities of tennis ball. So let's just say it's $1, and then this is 40, and pay attention that this is in millions, but that's okay, we just use it for illustration. So we want to look at complementary good. So the first thing that happened is the effect on the market for tennis ball of a decline in court renting fees. So in other words, CR stands for court renting. The price of renting the court comes down, cheaper. If it is cheaper to rent a court, you would expect people would rent it more, right? Mm-hmm. Play more tennis games? Yes. Play more games, and if you play more games, what do you think will be the demand for tennis ball? Increase, yes. So the demand for tennis balls goes up as a result of the price of the court renting goes down. So in other words, tennis balls and court rentals are considered complementary goods. They go together. If you rent a court, you don't want to go up there with just a racket and start hitting the air. I hope you got ball to go with a tennis ball, the right kind of ball, yes. But that's the point, they have to be consumed together. Well, it's just like today, you walk out from your apartment, you come to class, and if on your left foot you're wearing a boot, cowboy boot, on your right foot you're wearing a flip-flop, there's a problem. What's the problem? Because you're supposed to consume them together, left cowboy boot and the right, hopefully you have them in pair, right? So they are called complementary good. Another example would be, how many of you have milk with cereal? Most of us do. I know some don't. They just eat dry cereal. They enjoy it. I know, the new generation. But usually you consume milk together with the cereal. So they're called complementary good. So this is what happened at the beginning. This is the equivalent price and quantity. And after the drop in price of the complementary service, in this case, because renting is a service, not a good, and demand for tennis ball goes up, so you expect the demand curve to shift to the
Right.
right. This is point A. Start doing the graph when I do it, because otherwise you won't understand. You have to actually get your hands and feet wet. Do the graph. While I do the process, do it. It surprise you. Sometimes I ask you to hand in those notes. So point B. So therefore, at the end, your equilibrium price is higher, which now is $1.40. And your equilibrium quantity is also higher, 58. Okay, so what we do is we indicate it by the effects. This is the answer. This is the kind of answer I like to see on your homework problem. When you draw your graph, be sure you show the equilibrium price has gone up. Equilibrium quantity has also gone up. For the correct market, you're doing the analysis for tennis balls market. You're not doing analysis for court renting. Everybody see it? Read it carefully one more time. The effect on the market for tennis ball of a decline in court renting fee. So in other words, the court renting fee being declining is the cause or the factor. And the effects is equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity are higher in the tennis ball market. So that was the first example, a decrease in the price of complement to the goods or service. Okay, another example, next example, is, so this is an example for complementary good, and then we're gonna do one more, a few more actually. So the next one we want to do is called substitute. A classic example, excuse me, for substitutes are Coke and Pepsi. How many of you like Coke? How many of you actually prefer Pepsi over Coke? Okay, so they are considered good substitutes. In this example we want to look at internet access. The price of internet access. How does it affect the demand for overnight letter delivery? Okay, so we want to look at market. Read the title carefully. We say effect on the market for OLD. It stands for O, but overnight letter delivery. Here's demand for OLD, supplies for OLD. Okay, so be very careful that the graph that you want to draw is the one that we use the term market. Well, we give you the hint. We say, what's the effect on the market for OLD, overnight letter delivery? So this is the price of OLD. So this is the quantity of OLD. We're not doing the market demand and supply curve for internet access. So be very careful, because that internet access only comes in as a substitute service. The price of the internet access is that a decline? Comes down? Yeah, so there are more internet subscription. When you have more internet subscription, you have more email accounts. Okay, when you have more email account, people use email to send messages. How soon do you get it? Hopefully instantaneously. Pretty soon, right? Usually. You book a hotel, you say, yeah, send it to me. And then you look at your cell phone and say, oh yeah, it's here, I just got it. Now we can hang up. Don't hang up until you make sure you got an email confirmation. Okay, so internet access goes up because of that, because the overnight letter delivery and the internet access, email account for that matter, is considered a good substitute. So therefore, what do you think about the demand for OLD? Higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower, yes. Because it is lower, so therefore we shift to the
Left.
left. Notice that so far I'm only shifting the demand curve. I'm not touching the supply curve. So this is your point B, and your equilibrium price and quantity is now lower. Is everybody seeing what happened? So let's give some numbers. So let's just say this is $20 to $10, okay? So you could relate that will be, say, 50,000 people to 20,000. Something like that. So the point here is from point A to B, everything drops. Equilibrium price drop, equilibrium quantity drop, that's the effects, that's the answer. As a result, demand curve shifting to the left. And this is due to substitute, the price of the substitute chain. Okay, so this is a quick summary, very quickly. In the case of complements, if two goods are complementary consumption, if there's a decrease, I'm using the one in parentheses, in the price of one, which was a previous example, the tennis ball example, there should be increase in the demand of the other. Because remember, the drop in court renting fee would cause the demand, not quantity demanded, demand for tennis balls to go up. So opposite direction. Now with this is the same direction. So the internet access drop, watch how I circle which arrow, and demand for OLD drop. So they're in the same direction. Usually we skip the intermediate one. We only look at the final result. So two goods have substitutes in consumption if, in our case here, a decrease in the price of one, in this case internet access price, will cause a decrease, same direction, in the demand for the other, which is why demand curve for the OLD shift to the left. And then of course vice versa, we talked about what's vice versa, which is the one in parentheses or without parentheses, depending on which one you look at. So if there is an increase in the demand for a good, you shift to the right. If it is decreased, you shift to the left. And pretty much you can see now, right? If you shift to the left, equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity will come down. But if you shift to the right, only talking about demand curve, then the opposite happens. So if you look at page, what she just read, Kiana, that is page 30. You see this graph here? There are 4 graphs. So which are 2 scenarios we just done? Let's call this A, B, C, D. So give me in the alphabet numbers, which are the 2 analyses we just done? Is it A or B or C or D? It should be 2. So it should be A and B, you're right, because we're only moving the demand curve. Okay, we haven't done C and D yet, which you're going to do very soon coming up. What about normal good? Remember what Kiana read? You could go back to page, again, 30. Factor number 3 is increase in the income for normal good. What would you consider a normal good? What is normal? Give me an example. Okay, what about Jonathan back there? Do you want to give an example of what is a normal good? What would you buy normally?
Something you need for your house.
Okay, like on a daily basis, what are the things that you buy?
Food.
Sorry?
Food.
The what?
Food.
Oh, food. Okay, yeah, hamburger. Pizza, yeah. I don't know why I'm thinking about hamburgers right away. Okay, food. Good. So if the price of a food goes up, maybe you buy less. Okay? But if your income goes up, you buy more of it, that's called normal good. Well, like I said the other day, right? If your income goes up, you could afford to buy 26 pizza and feed the whole class. Slices of pizza, that is. Even invite the professor to your pizza party. Why not? Yeah. So that's called normal good. If your income comes down, you buy less of it. But there is another kind that's say inferior good, which is the opposite. If your income goes up, you buy less. You stay away. What would be a good example of inferior good? Anybody? Anybody heard of spam?
Yeah.
Is that a good example for inferior good? If your income goes up, would you want to open that can? Hey, it is called spam. Where do you think we get that word spam from? Spam. How many of you have been to this island country called Guam? They have a strong military presence there. The staple food in that island is spam. Famous. Anyway, what else? If your income goes up, you will buy less of it. You will chuck it. Here I come, trash can, jupe. What are they? If you go through your closet or kitchen cabinet, what would you throw away if your income goes up?
Ramen.
What?
Ramen noodles.
Ramen noodles is a good example. I hear that all the time.
A lot of canned vegetables.
Yeah, okay. You could give away, yeah. Don't trash them. Goodwill would take them. Salvation Army would take them, yeah. But, so the point here is, yes. Would anybody consider like McDonald's inferior food? Okay, some of you do. Okay, good. If your income goes up, you say goodbye to McDonald's. You say, welcome, what is that, Outback, Ruby Tuesday. What do they have in London? Shogun? Do they still have that? Shogun? Is that good? I
Yes.
don't know. That was a long time ago. How many of you work in Shogun? I always have some student who work in Outback. I don't know why. Anybody working Outback? Ruby Tuesday? No? Okay. I mean, there are more. I just happen to name this. Cracker Barrel? Okay, so if your income goes up, you consume more of it. That's called normative. If your income goes up, you consume less of it. That's called inferior good. So same thing, same graph. You will see A and B, shift to the right or shift to the left. There will be a question like that in your homework, I think. Okay, next we have not looked at factor number 4 that Kiana has read, an increased preference by demanders for the good or service. How many of you have watched the movie Jurassic Park? That's not everybody. I'm a little bit surprised. Now, how many of you watch it more than once? Yes. Okay. So when you were growing up, you were watching, your mom and dad took you to Jurassic Park, and especially boys or girls too, you know. And then at the end of the movie, you say, Mom, you know, take me to Walmart. I want to buy this toy dinosaur. So there is a sudden increase in demand for toy dinosaurs because of the trend. Favorable trend. I use the term favorable because it could be unfavorable. If the dinosaurs start eating people, you know, and you see blood spilling all over the place, mom and dad say, come on, this is not for kids, you know. And no, nobody wants to buy these dinosaurs, toy dinosaurs. Then demand curve shift to the left. So in this case, we expect the demand curve to shift to the right. Okay, if there is a favorable trend. Indeed, so this is the case. So again, your equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity goes up. Again, be very careful. You have to identify whether it's favorable or unfavorable. Another term we use is preference, trend. What about if Obama comes on TV and say, oh, I love this pair of Levi jeans I just bought. It's so cool. Well, you know, those new blue jeans that people are wearing? They have rips. It's like holes everywhere. And, you know, I mean, it's so trendy. People wear them. It's like, no, I mean, that's the way it is. You want it that way. So what if you start wearing that kind of pants and say, oh, this is so cool, you know? It's trying to appeal to teenagers and younger generation. And then the next day, wow, there's an increase in demand nationwide for that kind of jean. That's favorable trend. So, and it could work the other way too. What if Obama discovered that the colors all fade the next day after he wash it? You say, oh boy, this is crummy. I'm gonna return it to Walmart or wherever he bought it. I'm sorry, he probably didn't buy it from Walmart, you know. So he would start returning it, and then he make a comment on national news or national TV, and then everybody does the same. Then it shift to the other way, that kind of blue jeans. Okay, the last one we look at for demand curve is at the bottom. Okay, so we have not looked at anything for population increase. That would be the same. We shift to the right. If there's an increase in population, there'll be more people who demand everything: housing, utilities, internet access, everything, entertainment, and they ask for the fourth Walmart in Fayetteville. Well, I think there are 3 already, so, because the increase in demand. Okay, what about the last factor that Kiana read, which is factor number 6? It say an expectation of higher prices in the future. So here's the example. This is an example of Apple computer. You hear rumors that a cheaper model is coming. Now, if you intend to buy an Apple computer, you read in the paper that next month we're going to drop the price for this model. What would you do today? Would you rush out there and buy it? You would wait. You will wait or postpone your buying decision, correct? In fact, if you just got one yesterday, you will return it today. If they let you do that, I think they may do it because it's just one day. So what happened is what you see in this graph here is the current period when you hear the news. So the demand for Apple computer drops. Demand curve shifted a bit in the current period with the expectation that in the future the price is going to drop. So then everybody say, oh, I just got one, so I'm going to return it. Oh, you intend to buy one, but then you say, no, I'm just going to postpone. I'm not buying today. So demand curve for Apple computer shift to the left. Again, you have the same effects. Okay, I need a volunteer, second volunteer. We've done this already to read. Actually, we don't have time, so I'm going to go through this quickly. Never mind about volunteer. I'm just going to go over this very quickly. Now, the supply side, which is C and D. We have not seen that yet, the bottom 2 graph. So all the questions you do in the homework, you might want to look at it in advance over the weekend. So what about supply curve? What caused it to shift? A decrease in the cost of materials, labor, other inputs in the production of goods or services, an improvement in technology, okay, could also affect supply curve, improvement in the weather, especially agricultural products, increase in the number of supplies, expectation lower prices. So all this you can read on page 24, I believe. Let's look at the first example. So this is the first example. I'm not going to do the graph. I'm just going to explain it quickly. So this is a case of you want to look at market for skateboard. Okay, and fiberglass is considered the raw material that you use to make the skateboard. Okay, so what happened here is you have demand supply curve for skateboard, SB, because you're looking at the market. So if there's an increase or higher price of fiberglass, which is a raw material to make that skateboard, it would affect the supply side, not the demand side. And I want you to pay attention that the supply side factors on page 24 are not the same as the demand factor on page 23. They are very different. Because what affects the consumer and producers are very different. The producer look at, oh, how much is the raw material I use to make? If that raw material is higher, that means it's more expensive to produce skateboard. Then you would expect the supply curve to shift to the left. Yes, you should have more confidence. Yes. Well, let's see if you're right. Oh, yes. It will shift to the left because of the higher price in raw material or cost of production. When you shift to the left, watch this. Equilibrium price goes up, but equilibrium quantity comes down. Which one is it? On this page 4 graph, A, B, C, D. Tell me which one. That would be D. Yes, the last one, this one here. Okay, because we're shifting the supply curve to the left. And we're using the term equilibrium because you still have intersection of supply and demand curve here. So price goes up now, quantity comes out. That's the answer that I'm looking for. Okay, what about carpenters' wages, wages in the case of housing market. This is a housing market, demand supply curve for housing. So if it is now cheaper to hire carpenters or electricians or plumbers to build houses, what about the supply? How would it affect the supply side of the housing market? Would they build more houses or build less?
Build more,
Why?
because labor is low.
Because it's cheaper to hire them. Yes, let's see if you're right. Okay, very good. Supply curve will shift to the right now. And again, this is your point A and B. So your equilibrium price will come down from 120 to 90 per house. And 40 will go up to 50. Equilibrium quantity goes up. So this is a case of which one?
C.
Sorry?
C.
C as in cat?
Yeah.
Okay, that's correct, yes. Now, technology. So this is an old day when you have typewriter. Yes, $55 per revision, and then computers came along. There's a whopping shift in supply curve for term paper revision because it's so easy, you just change it. Not like old days when I type equation, 50 pages. I pay someone $50 per page to type my thesis when I did my master's. That was some 30 years ago. And I remember every time I have to change the equation, she has to retype everything on that page. And what a chores, And you have to pay again, for that. So, but nowadays so easy. Fix it and then you print it out, right? So it becomes a lot more cheaper to revise a term paper, and because demand and supply, quantity, demand and supply goes up. So same thing, but you see a whopping shift here. So this is the same as the your D, I think. C, yeah. So equilibrium price comes down, quantity goes up. What about agricultural good? Okay, good weather. What do you produce in this country? North Carolina. What do you produce here?
Tobacco,
Tobacco, very good. What else?
corn,
Corn, yes. What else? Soya bean? Oh, no, you don't have soya bean as much. Sweet potatoes. You got a lot of sweet potatoes around here, yes. You just open up a sweet potato plant. Marijuana? Excuse me? Yeah, there's some people who produce it in Robeson County, yes. Now, if there's a lot of good rainfall, is this good for the farmer? Yes. What happened to agricultural products?
increases.
Shift to the right, yes. Sweet potato is good, and soybean's good, so is marijuana. Because the rain does not know, right? I'm not coming down to marijuana, I'm gonna stop halfway. No, just come down and everybody, all the agricultural goods products get benefit. What's the opposite? If you have tornado, what else? What are some of the disasters? Spell it out. Hurricane, very good. What else that we have?
Fire,
Flood, fire, yes. Tsunami. Oh boy, that's a heavy one, yeah. So then supply curve will shift to the left. Okay, the opposite. Now there's only one that I have not covered. I would like for you to take a look by yourself over the weekend. Is this last two slides I have? Okay, and that's on page 31. And this one basically show you that supply curve and demand curve could shift simultaneously. I will cover it in the next class, but I would like for you to look at it. Then the answers will be very different. Okay, thank you for coming, and I still got 1 minute. How did I get cheated? No, I'm gonna use my 1 minute, yes. Never mind, some of you got already. Okay, read on your own, I'll quiz you on Tuesday. Is Monday a holiday?
Yes.